वेलकम टू बिटूनेट कोड चैनल। गाइस, लास्ट के हमारे एक्सेल के सेशन में हमने कुछ टेक्स्ट फंक्शंस देखे थे। वी हैड डिस्कस्ड ऑल दीज टेक्स्ट फंक्शंस, सम, एवरेज, काउंट नॉन एम्प्टी सेल्स, काउंट ब्लैंक सेल्स, मैक्स, मिन, care, clean. Okay, all these functions we had discussed. So I hope all these functions are clear to you. So guys, today we are going to discuss a few more functions. And before that, I'm going to give you very exciting and bonus tip, right? Let's assume that what happen normally whenever we want to cut paste or copy paste any data, right? We take help of uh, this shortcut command copy, and then we paste, right? What do? We copy here, and then we go here, then we paste, right? Or we do that with the help of keyboard. We copy and we paste, right? But let's assume that we don't want to use keyboard, or we don't want to use these locations, and this is a long method. So there is a one shortcut method to cut paste or copy paste data, right? Let's see how we can do that in Excel. Let's assume that this is the range. Okay, I want to cut paste this range from here to over somewhere here in n column, right? How can we do that? Normally we use copy paste or cut paste, or we use a shortcut, right click, and this way. But there is quick method of doing that. So let's see how we can do that. Do you see this? My mouse cursor has changed to a doctor symbol, plus sign, right? So if I take this cursor to inside also it's a doctor symbol, icon, plus sign, right? But if I take my cursor on the boundary of this range, right, of any cell range or the selected range, it changes to 4 arrow cursor. So what I can do, I can just left click, and without releasing the mouse, I can move the cursor and I can drop it wherever I want. So now I am releasing the cursor. Okay, here we go. So now you have seen that I have moved the data without doing cut or paste. Let's try one more time. Left click, 4 arrow, and paste it here. Okay, this was cut paste. Now I want to move, I want to do copy paste. So I will use again same command, but before that I will press control key. I will press control key, and then I will drag, right? Now my control key is pressed and my mouse button is also pressed. Now here I drop. Okay, so this is copy paste. So this is the shortcut method of doing cut paste and copy paste. So I hope this will be helpful to you. Now let's get back to Excel formulas. So let's see, first of all, uh, let's start with not formula. What this formula will do, let's see that. Okay, what not formula will do is equal to, I write not is equal to. So the explanation says it changes false to true or true to false. Okay, whatever is the existing value of a previous value, right? It will invert that value. So let's give it uh, any value. Let's give it this value. Let's say what happens. So this value was true. 1 means true. So it converted it into false. Now let me try once again. Now I am giving it value this false. So now value is false. So what not formula will do to that value? So it will convert that into true. So not will do opposite of what the existing value is. If it is true, it will convert to false. If it is false, it will convert to true. Now let's see the use of AND function. For example, we have values here. What we will do is equal to AND. Let's see, read the description of AND formula. Checks whether all arguments are true and returns true if all arguments are true, right? So let's start the formula, and let's give it the value. Let's check if whether this value is equal to 12. Okay, this is the first logical operation we have given. Now let's give it one more. Check whether this value is equal to 5. Okay, let's see what result we get. So we got false. So it means that both these operations are not correct, right? B42 is equal to 12 and B43 value in cell B43 is equal to 5. Is it not? It is equal to 1. That's why it returned false. So let me do one thing. Let me change the value of B43 to 5. Okay, now we got the result as true. So this is the use of AND function. Both the operations should result in true. Only then AND will give us true. Okay. Now let's see OR. I can copy the same formula. Here I can change AND to OR. Okay. Now OR checks whether any one of arguments are true and returns true, or false. Returns false only if all arguments are false. Now let's see, all um, OR function is returning false. B43 is equal to, okay, it increase the reference also. So B43 is equal to 12. Is B43, here you can see the address of the cell here in name box. B43, value of B43 is equal to 5. Okay, and B44, is B44 is equal to 5? No, B44 is equal to 1. So both operations are not true. So let me take make one value true, right? So now it is returning us true because one value is true, other is false. So this is the use of OR function. Now let's see if function. We need to have some kind of data for it. If function, let's go to this sheet, right? So here with the help of, we are going to do logical operation, right? We have this table. Let me give it border, and we will do a logical test on this table, and criteria will be if marks of these students, name A, B, C, D, E, if these students have marks greater than 50, we will consider them as pass, otherwise fail, right? So how we are going to do that? Let me do control or R to copy, and let's write the if formula. The description says checks whether a condition is met and returns one value if true and another value if false, right? So this is the syntax. First of all, we will do the logical test. What we want to test? We want to test the marks of A, whether they are equal to 50. Checks, let's give the location A5. Okay, A5 is equal to 50. So this is the test we will do. Now if formula will test if A5 is equal to 50 and give the result. If a5 is equal to 50, it will be considered as true. Then what should be the result? We will write here in double quotes, because text always comes in double quotes. Okay, if this test passes, then result should be pass. If marks are not equal to 50, then it should say fail. Okay, here we have one problem with this formula. If marks are greater than 50, then also it will say fail. So here we need to add less than sign also. If a5 is less than or equal to 50, not less than, sorry, greater than. If a5 is greater than is equal to 50, then it should return us pass. Okay, the second condition will be if marks are less than 50, then it will be considered as fail. So now let's hit enter. So it gave the result as pass. Okay, uh, if I drag the formula below, now it is checking a6. I'm sorry, I did the mistake. Here we have to check b5, because marks are in b column, b5, right? So the logical test is being done on this b5 column. If b5 is greater than is equal to 50, then pass, otherwise fail. Let's hit enter. We got pass, right? And I do control D. So now it is comparing for b6, this cell. b6 has value 31, that is less than 50. Let's make it 52. So it changed to pass. Let's move it back to 31. Okay, so the same way we can guys, there is one very interesting feature of Excel. Whenever we copy or drag the formulas, right, the reference values are also changed in the same context. Like currently the formula was acting upon the same row but different column. B for it was acting on B5. Now it is acting on B6. If I drag it below, now it is acting on B7. So this is the very useful feature of Excel. Whenever we drag the formulas, it changes the value in the same fashion. Okay. Now this formula is acting on B10. It is checking value for B10. Now let's add and or values. So here is the we have the bigger table. Let me add border here. So now we want to check the we will use and function here. We want that all the subjects, individual subjects, should have marks greater than 50. Okay, only then we will consider the student as 50. So let's try that. Is equal to if. Okay, so the now we are going to use if formula with and function. So give and function. So first logical test will be check whether maths to marks are greater than 50. So check, let's click on this cell. Greater than is equal to 50. This is the first logical test. Okay, put comma. Now second logical test will be check science marks also. Check science marks. So it is in C15. C15 greater than is equal to 50. Okay, and we have to do one more test. Check English marks also. Check English marks. Here are the English marks. Are they greater than is equal to 50? If all these three conditions match, only then we will consider the student as true. Okay, now we have closed the bracket for and. So what should be the result? Our logical test is complete. We will do three operations in logical test. So if these all these three tests are passed, what should be the result? We want the result value as pass if individual passes all these tests. Okay, if any one of the condition is not met, then what will be the result value if false, right? Then we will give a result as fail, bracket close, enter. So because we have marks greater than 50 in all these subjects, so that's why student is pass here. What we can try, we can try reducing marks of any one subject. Let's make it 49. So it changed to fail because here one uh, condition is not matching. We can test that. Press F2, go to click on if and click on logical test and press F9. So this logical test and function is returning us false because one subject is less than 50. So that's why it is not selecting first value, it is selecting the alternate if the test fails, right? That's why fail is selected. So control Z and enter. Let me change it back to same value what it was, and we can drag the formula same way we did. Okay, so we are getting the same result. Now we want to add one more condition. Now we will check individual marks should be greater than 50 and sum of these three subjects should be greater than 170. This is the condition we will test now. Now this is our requirement. Okay, so let's do this also with the help of AND formula. Here first three conditions will be individual marks and next condition will be total of these three marks. So let's check B15 result. Is it greater than is equal to 50? Second condition C15 greater than is equal to 50. Third condition D15 greater than is equal to 50. And fourth condition we have to check the sum of these three values. What is the sum of these three values? It should also be greater than 170. So we will use sum formula, sum of all these three values, close. Okay, this sum should also be greater than is equal to 170, right? So this is the AND formula. Now AND formula has completed, our logical operation completed. We will close this value, sorry, bracket, and we will move to next parameter of if, that is what should be the result if this logical operation passes. Our result should be pass. Okay, what if logical operation fails? It should print fail. Close the bracket. Okay, now let's check the individual sum of all these three values. So the sum of all these three values is 2 to 4. Okay, so individual values are greater than 50 and sum is also greater than 170. So let's drag this little bit down. Individual values are not greater than 50. Here we can see in maths and English marks are less than 50. So and formula failed here, right? So that's why this if formula will also give a result as fail. Now let's have a look at third formula. Individual values show value greater than 50, so they should if formula should give us pass, and it is giving us a correct result. Let's go to next one. This is fail. So here we can see that individual values are greater than 50, but what about the sum of these three values? Sum is 157. So here we can say that some this value failed, right? And condition of AND is that all the logical functions should pass, right? Only then AND will give us a true result. Here let's click on F9. First function is returning true. Control Z. Let's check second function F9. This is also true. Control Z. Check third function F9. This is also returning true. Control Z. And check function 4, logical operation 4, and F9. Let's see the result of this function. This is resulting false, so last operation is failing. Press Ctrl Z to return back to function. So now we know that sum is failing, other values are returning true, so that's why AND is giving us the total result as false. So if AND results give a false value, then it will go to next value, that is what if condition fails. So that's why we are getting it fail. Check next one. Here also value is greater than 50, but result is less than 170, so that's why it is giving us fail. Let's check it over here. Here we can see that the result is greater than, sum is greater than 170. What about the individual values? First, maths marks greater than 50, science marks are not greater than 50, they are 25. English marks are greater than 50, so one operation is failing, so that's why we are fail over here also, right? Now let's try to include OR function. Here we use AND. Now we will use and OR. Okay, our condition will be we will check either the individual marks should be greater than 50, or the sum should be greater than 170. If any of these two conditions passes, then we will consider the student as pass, right? So we will use OR and both, right? So let's go to if function. So we will use OR function. So for OR we are doing sum of these subjects should be greater than is equal to 170. Okay, comma. Now for logical operation of OR will be done with the AND, right? Because AND will give us one result, either true or false. So that result we will match with, we will do OR with sum, right? So let's do logical operation with AND now. And maths marks should be greater than is equal to 50. First logical operation, comma. Second logical operation, science marks should be greater than is equal to 50, comma. English marks should be greater than is equal to 50, right? This is the AND operation. Now OR operation is comparing between sum and total of result of AND operation. Okay, now close the, this is the bracket we close for AND function. Now close the bracket for OR function also. Okay, now we are into if formula. So what should be the result, comma, result should be pass. Okay, and if both the values don't pass, the result should be fail. We will discuss this formula also, please bear with me for some time, because formula creation is a complicated task, so we have to do it very carefully. Now we can see that individual marks are greater than 50 and our result is also greater than 170. So let me drag over here for comparison. Now let's study this formula. I pressing F2, and right now I am inside if formula. Click on if, you will go inside the if. Now the logical test that is happening, click on logical test. So it's selected or with and, right? Let's see the result of this logical test. Press F9. So result of this logical test is true. That means we are getting true. Control Z. Now we will go inside this or formula. So click on sum. Okay, inside or formula, the first logical operation that is happening, what is the result of sum formula? Press F9. It is returning true. Sum is greater than 170. Okay, let's go to second logical test. Second logical test is AND operation for three subjects. Okay, press F9. It is also returning true. Control Z. So according to AND operation, all the individual subjects have marks greater than 50. So both these conditions are matching. So that's why we are getting a pass, right? So we can now we can go inside AND function also. Click on AND here, and when we click on AND, we are inside the OR function. When we click inside AND function, now we are inside the AND function. So logical 1, click on logical 1, press F9, true, Control Z, go to logical function 2, F9, true, result is true, Control Z, and check the third logical comparison, F9, true, Control Z, right? So all these functions are passing, so that's why we are getting the result as true. Now we will compare for second, where second one is failing. So we can see that individual marks are not greater than 50. But what about the total result? Because we have OR function between individual marks and total. We can see that both are not passing. Total is one less than 170. Individual marks are also less than 50. So this is obviously supposed to fail because both conditions are false. So we can again double check it. Click on if function. Now go to logical test. Logical test is happening between OR and AND. Okay, we can go inside OR function. Now inside OR function we have how many logical functions? One is sum, and second logical function is AND function, right? There is no logical third, that's why we are not getting cursor pointer symbol. So let's analyze a logical function for first. Press F9. It failed, that's why it is giving result as false. Click on logical function 2, logical test, and press F9. So this also failed, so both results failed, that's why we are getting the result as fail. Now drag the second one. Here we can see that individual marks are greater than 50, but what about the sum? Sum is also greater than 170, so this is bound to come as pass. And here we can see that individual marks are greater than 50. What about the sum? Sum is not greater than 170. Sum is less than 170. So because OR operation is in effect, right? So that's why it is giving us pass. When AND operation was there, it was giving us fail. Now we are using OR operation. So let's analyze this formula also. Press F2. Click on if logical test. Okay. So this is the first logical comparison, and value, what will be the result if logical test passes? Value should be pass. What if it fails? Value should be fail, right? Click back on logical test. Now we want to check which function failed inside the OR function. So click inside the OR function. Now inside OR function, how many logical tests we have? We have logical test 1, that is sum. Logical test 2 is and function, right? Let's see logical test, or failed or passed. Sum, for sum it failed, right? Sum is less than 170, so that's why it failed. But since this is or function, so we have to check the result of second logical test, that is and. So what does it return? It returns true. So false or true will return true. Control Z, okay, and hit enter. So that's why, because individual marks are greater than 50, or some uh, may or may not be greater than 170, it should give us pass. Let's go to next result. Here individual marks are greater than 170, or some of these three subjects may or may not be greater than 170, so it is a returning pass. So in this condition also, let's analyze this formula. Press F2, click on if logical test is coming true, we will further analyze. We will go inside or function. Logical 1, where what is the sum of all these three subjects? Press F9. Sum is true, right? Value is greater than B22 D20. Value is greater than 170. Okay, now let's check the second comparison inside or function. Second logical operation is and function. So what is the result of this one? It is failing, right? What was the inside and function? We had three conditions. Every subject should have value greater than 50. So let's see, it failed, right? Because one subject has value less than 50, that is science. In C20 we can check inside, go inside and function also. We can check every formula one by one. Press F9. First subject marks are greater than 50, right? Go to second logical test, so where we are checking value of C20. Press F9. Second subject marks are failing, right? They are 25, which is less than 50. Now let's go to third logical function and press F9. Third is also true. So because of only one subject, right, this is failing. But since, because we have or operation, so the overall result will be true. Hit enter. So this way we can see that when we use or function, uh, either total should be greater than 170, or every subject individual mark should be greater than 50. So that's why we are pass according to this and or combination. So guys, this was the brief introduction about these few useful formulas. Let me know in the comment section if you like this tutorial, and thank you for watching this video.